Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Anusha Soni. After a hard-hitting speech by Prime Minister yesterday, the opposition parties led by the Congress have upped their ante. The political discourse has clearly gone up. They've criticized the Prime Minister's speech for being high on verbose and low on substance. Rahul Gandhi made yet another stinging attack on the union government, breaking up the Manipur issue. The highlight on the last working day of the Parliament was the protest staged by the Congress party over the suspension of Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Chaudhary has been suspended from Lok Sabha for causing repeated disturbances, and his case has been referred to the Privilege Committee. With the privilege motion and more importantly, the no confidence motion being defeated after a heightened political optic-full debate on the floor of the House, has the time of the Parliament really been utilized judicially? If the intent of the opposition was to seek answers from the government on key issues like Manipur, was there actually any substantial discussion that ensued? And with Manipur issue being the key attack from Rahul Gandhi and the opposition, will the charge of misgovernance really stick? Would it matter in the run-up to 2024? Our focus on Viewpoint tonight.
Prime Minister refuses to stop the fire. He wants Manipur to burn. He allows Manipur to burn. मणिपुर में महीनों से आग लगी हुई है, लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, बलात्कार हो रहा है, बच्चों को मारा जा रहा है। और अगर आपने देखा होगा कल, तो प्रधानमंत्री हंस हंस के बोल रहे थे, मुस्कुरा रहे थे, जोक्स क्रैक कर रहे थे, हंस रहे थे। When we went to the Meitei area, we were categorically told that please ensure, we want you to come, we love you, but please ensure that if there are any cookies in your security detail, they do not come into our area or we will shoot them. When I went into the Kuki area, we were told the same thing.
This is all bogus claim. They never wanted discussion on any issue because they know the performance of Modi government is historically well.
में हुआ कि कोई गृह मंत्री 4 दिन मणिपुर में स्वयं रहे हों, अलग अलग ग्रुप से बैठकें की हों, हर कदम उठाने का प्रयास किया हो, जहां एक और सारी जानकारी सदन को दी, वहीं पर एक शांति का प्रस्ताव भी रखा। लेकिन कांग्रेस ने शांति के प्रस्ताव पर भी सदन में भी अशांति फैलाने का प्रयास किया और मणिपुर में भी अशांति फैलाने में कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ रहे। श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी का लॉन्च एक बार फिर फेल और फ्लॉप हो गया। जब वो सदन में कुछ नहीं बोल पाए तो सड़क पर आकर वही गाली दोबारा निकालने का प्रयास किया। अभद्र भाषा का प्रयोग, अपशब्द कहना, झूठ बोलना एक आदत सी कांग्रेस के नेताओं की बन गई है और ये इनका अहंकार और घमंड इनको घमंडिया गठबंधन को बनाता है। क्या कोई भारत माता का सपूत अपनी मां के टुकड़े टुकड़े की बात सोच सकता है? भारत माता की हत्या की बात सोच सकता है? ये वही सोच सकते हैं जो टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग के समर्थक हों, मध्य रात्रि उनका समर्थन करते हों और बाद में टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग को अपनी पार्टी में शामिल करवाते हों और अब उनको बड़ी बड़ी जिम्मेदारियां देते हों। मणिपुर और महिलाओं की इनको चिंता नहीं, मीडिया की सुर्खियों में बने रहना चिंता है। कितना खराब से खराब बोले ताकि मीडिया की सुर्खियों में बने रहे। श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी भारत माता की मृत्यु की कामना करते हैं, इस तरह की बोलबानी। और यही नहीं, ये लोकतंत्र और संविधान की हत्या की बात कर रहे हैं। मैं तो कहूंगा इनके मन में जो है उनके कृत्य में भी नजर आता है। और कहीं ना कहीं वो शब्द जो है, जो भाषा है, वो साफ दिखाती हो चाहे देश के बाहर है या देश के अंदर है, देश को बदनाम करने वाली है। अगर श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी आप सदन में तो 10 मिनट भी नहीं रहते, आप आए, भाषण दिया, आप चले गए। बांसवाड़ा तो आप चले गए लेकिन भीलवाड़ा नहीं गए। क्या वहां की बेटियों की हत्या, वहां की महिलाओं के साथ रेप होना, क्या आपको राजस्थान की महिलाओं की कोई चिंता नहीं? आप भेद मणिपुर में और राजस्थान में करते हैं, आप भेद मणिपुर में और बंगाल में करते हैं, आप भेद मणिपुर और बिहार की महिलाओं में करते हैं। और अगर मणिपुर की मैं बात करूं तो नफरत के बीज किसी ने बोए थे तो श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी के परिवार ने, इनकी पार्टी ने बोए थे। पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जो आज जो नफरत देखने को मिलती है वो किसी और की दी हुई नहीं, नेहरू गांधी परिवार और कांग्रेस पार्टी की है। जब ये जवाब नहीं दे पाए सदन के अंदर कि कैसे अपने वोट बैंक की राजनीति के लिए नेहरू जी, इंदिरा जी, राजीव जी, फिर मनमोहन जी, सोनिया जी, राहुल गांधी जी, ये एक के बाद दूसरे ने पूर्वोत्तर को जलने के लिए छोड़ दिया। अरे श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी, देश को जवाब दीजिए। 1962 में पंडित नेहरू जी ने तो असम को टाटा बाय बाय बोल दी थी। माई हार्ट गोज आउट टू असम, टू द पीपल ऑफ असम। आप तो उसी दिन छोड़ के बैठ गए थे। आपके लिए देश का कोई टुकड़ा चला जाए आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। अक्षय चिन्ह का एरिया चलेगा, आपको तब भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा। आप हिंदू चीनी भाई भाई करते रहे और अब भी जाकर आप राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन में उसी चाइना से पैसा लेते और देश को जवाब नहीं देते हो। अब मैं 1966 की बात करता हूं। मिजोरम में किसने बम फेंकवाए थे, किसकी दादी थी? श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी, जवाब दीजिए देश को। मिजोरम में बम फेंकवा के हजारों लोगों की हत्या किसने करवाई थी? क्या आप इंदिरा गांधी जी के निर्णयों को लेकर अभी नहीं बताओगे? जब आपसे आज मीडिया ने सवाल पूछा तो आप कन्नी काट के परली तरफ निकल गए। इतिहास गवाह है, यह मणिपुर में नफरत का बीज बोने वाली कांग्रेस पार्टी है। मिजोरम में 1966 में बम फेंकवाने वाली उस समय की कांग्रेस की सरकार और श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी जी। और मैं अगर बात करूं 1997 की, तो 1 साल तक मणिपुर जलता रहा। किसकी सरकार थी, किसका समर्थन था? और यही नहीं, 2011 में राहुल जी आप तो तब सांसद थे, 2-2 हजार रुपए लीटर।
Well, that was Union Minister Anurag Thakur, and once again he was responding to the kind of charges that were made by Rahul Gandhi when he addressed the press today. Manipur continues to be the key issue that the opposition wants to focus on, and a response that we saw from Union Home Minister I.N.D.I.A, a response from Prime Minister himself, and now the public discourse outside the Parliament. Let's take this question to our guests as well who are joining us on the broadcast. Anila Singh, the spokesperson of the BJP, with us on the broadcast, Sujata Paul from the Congress Party, Salim Dharanidharan from the DMK, and Mr. R. Rajgopalan, who's a senior journalist. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Anila ji, we heard the Union Minister, we heard the speeches of Union Home Minister Amit-Shah and the Prime Minister himself. The opposition continues to demand stringent action against what has happened in Manipur. And their key understanding is that whatever the government has done or even said on the floor of the House is not enough. And whataboutery on an issue like Manipur does not work. Anila ji.
My ram to all, and definitely when they talk about whataboutery shouldn't happen, but how can they say this thing that whatever happened in other states or what happened earlier shouldn't be mentioned in today's date? So people should also know what is happening in other states and what happened earlier. So both the government center and the state governments, they are totally involved in getting peace and harmony prevailed in Manipur. All the actions are being taken. That is why we see that the violence has been controlled. So number of deaths have also reduced. So people are trying to get back to their normal life. So the worry of the opposition that whether Manipur is going to be stabilized or not. So I have to convey one thing, and which the honorable ministers have also conveyed on the floor of the Parliament, that yes, the situation in Manipur is under control, and in near future, everything will be fine. The only appeal is that the political parties who do not want that the situation should get normalized in Manipur, they should restrict their actions.
Anilaji, is that charge really something that you'd like to respond to? That it is actually some political parties like the Congress party which do not want normalcy in Manipur. Yesterday, I don't need to quote you the speech of the Prime Minister, I'm sure you heard, that how certain optics were used when Congress leader Rahul Gandhi visited Manipur. And it was quite deliberate for him, and Union Home Minister Amit Shah also mentioned about it, that it was deliberate on his part to stage certain antics or optics. How do you see that attack? Sujata ji.
First of all, I don't agree to this, and I take strict objection to the manner in which Manipur is burning, and you are saying that these were optics. Might I remind you that in 1966, let me finish, please.
Yeah, finish your point, yes.
Yes, thank you. In 1966, it was the Mizo National Front rebels that had taken over Aizawl, and that is the reason why the Indian Air Force, our brave forces, were sent to Mizoram. The Mizo National Front rebels ran for their lives, and we saved Mizoram. So when lies are being peddled, especially by ministers, they should be ashamed of themselves. When we talk about Manipur, Manipur is burning, and what did the naked king do? He stands exposed. He jeered, he laughed, he mocked, he made fun of the people of Manipur. He made fun of our sisters when he spoke for 2 hours, 13 minutes, and he gave a mere 3 to 4 minutes to the people of Manipur, to our sisters
Sujata
of Manipur.
Allow me an interjection here. How is it that the Prime Minister made fun of Manipur? Substantiate that argument if you're making that argument.
Absolutely, yeah. I will. In his speech of 2 hours, 13 minutes, if you noticed, he was attacking the opposition. That is his nature, that is his standard operating procedure, so that's perfectly fine. But yesterday was not the day for making fun of the opposition. And the moment the opposition, disgusted by his men and women cheering him on, clapping when we were talking about Manipur, we kept calling him out, kept asking him to speak on Manipur. He refused to speak, right? And when the opposition staged a walkout, he immediately came to Manipur. And if you notice his body language in that fraction of a second, he was taken aback. He didn't expect it.
No.
He wouldn't have taken the name of
Sujata
Manipur.
Ji, you're arguing, and correct me if I've understood it correctly, that the fact that the Prime Minister was taking pot shots at the opposition is an insult to Manipur. Is that a plausible argument you're making?
Absolutely, because when Manipur is burning, our sisters are getting raped. 2 communities have been seared, have a sword seared through them, and they cannot look at each other, they cannot stand each other, there is no communication between them. The Chief Minister has not been removed, the Prime Minister does not appeal for peace. That means he wants this to happen. And I've said this on your programs many times, Anusha, that he wants this violence to continue. Otherwise, he could have stopped it.
There's one pointed argument that you're making, that why the Chief Minister has not been removed, and I'll take it to the BJP as well. I want to clarify one point that you mentioned of the optics in the beginning. I was quoting merely BJP. I'm not in politics right now for me to say whether Rahul Gandhi or the Prime Minister was indulging into optics. That was the argument of the BJP, what was said on the floor of the House. My second point to you, which is rather a more substantial point. Many political commentators, responsible citizens and journalists like me who were watching the proceedings, we were happy with the fact that yes, Manipur is being taken up with full rigor enforced by the opposition parties, and yes, it's an issue that needs to be debated on the floor of the House. The Prime Minister is about to speak. Why didn't the opposition, including the Congress party, have the patience to listen to the full speech of the Prime Minister, then criticize it, call it out on its problems or the problems that he has not addressed, and then perhaps take a stand, walk out? Is that what this entire no confidence motion was all about?
Anusha, it would have been the best thing to happen. But if the Prime Minister spoke for 2 hours and 13 minutes and the opposition walked out after 1 hour, 45 minutes, tell me why did they have to walk out? Because for this duration, the Prime Minister refused to speak about Manipur. He kept asking his men and women to cheer him, to jeer at the opposition when the issue was Manipur. If you remember when Mr. Gaurav Gogoi brought the proposition, what did he say? He moved the motion saying that there are 3 pointed questions that I'm asking you. Why did you not go to Manipur? He didn't answer that. He asked, why is it that you haven't appealed for peace? He didn't answer it. And he asked why Biren Singh has not been removed. These questions remain unanswered even now. And if the opposition hadn't moved out, he wouldn't have spoken at all.
All right. I think we've lost that line with Alna Singh. The moment she's back, I'll take her back into the discussion. Mr. Dharanidharan, coming to you and taking in a point from you, there were quite a few things that were said by the for the DMK by the BJP. And one of the things that BJP and the Prime Minister, including the Prime Minister, accuses the DMK of is the kind of narrative that the party has adopted, especially in various circumstances, especially when it comes to the integrity and sovereignty of India. Mr. Dharanidharan.
The only party and the only Prime Minister who is detrimental to the soul of the country is Prime Minister Modi and the party BJP. This incumbent BJP government does not believe in democracy nor the Parliament. This is the first time, or ever since Modi has come to power, BJP has come to power in 2014. They made mockery of democracy. This is the first time in the history of independent India there have been 30 no confidence motion. The first time a no confidence motion is happening for the PM to speak. Because he wanted him to speak on Manipur. 55,000 people were homeless, right? No sanitary napkins. Women were paraded naked. And the Chief Minister of Manipur has the audacity to say, no, 50 such incidents have happened. And then still the Chief Minister has not changed. What did the BJP call the learned ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh? As Manmohan Singh. But look at who is really Maun. Modi is a person who's really mourned.
But didn't he speak for 2 hours yesterday? Wasn't there a detailed response that came from the Union Home Minister? No, the only thing, sir...
No, don't interrupt. You're interrupting me. Prime Minister Modi has spoken on 7 debates in the last 9 years, and Manmohan Singh has spoken on nearly 70 debates in 10 years, which is 10 times higher. Why can't you participate in debates in the Parliament? Do you think in Parliament?
Sir, I wish I
did. You are
interrupting
me.
One second. Sir, when you said don't interrupt, I stopped. I'm not here to interrupt you. You are a panelist here. I want you to speak on the debate. My question to you was rather different. My question to you was that why has it become about the optics of who is giving response on the floor of the House? Didn't the Union Home Minister give a detailed statement on the floor of the House when it comes to the Chief Minister, when it comes to the situation in Manipur? What has the Union government done and much more? Why is it that the opposition is hell-bent that Prime Minister should make an address and it should be an hour-long address on Manipur?
Because it's an extraordinary situation. The world has taken notice of it. It's like a genocide that's happening there. And if Prime Minister does not want to speak and Home Minister wants to speak, then let's
I believe that word genocide should be used very, very cautiously and carefully. And we are all very worried about the situation in Manipur.
I said genocide-like situation.
All right, I take that correction. Anurag, I'm coming back to you. One question that the political opponents rightly continue to ask is that why is it that the Chief Minister has not been replaced so far? If the government is serious upon acting on the situation, then Chief Minister, which does not seem to have the confidence of one particular community, which is part of that conflict, why don't you take action against the Chief Minister? Anilaji, am I audible to you? Can you hear me? We'll try and fix that line. There's a lot of disturbance which is coming in. Mr. Rajgopalan, coming to you. I'm sure you heard a lot of points that were made by Mr. Dharanidharan and also by the Congress party. Sujata ji is also with us on the broadcast. And they argue that substantial questions pertaining to Manipur have not been answered. These were speeches that we saw on floor of the House which were high on optics and political noise but low on substance.
The opposition parties have every right to demand a no confidence and Prime Minister should come and address.
Yes.
They stalled the Parliament for 10 days. Day before yesterday evening, Anusha, there was a resolution in Lok Sabha that peace should prevail and whatever the assurance center which will give extent. Congress and DMK and other parties were party to that resolution. All party resolution spoken and moved by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. It's a unanimous resolution. Day before yesterday night it took place. And after Mr. Amit Shah gave an exhaustive reply, and he gave, immense 18 to 19 points. I was present. Out of our 4 panelists, I was the only one panelist in the debate today present in the Lok Sabha during Amit Shah's reply.
Yeah.
And he gave exhaustive reply, and all the parties accepted that reply, including Congress, including Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Then Prime Minister came. You can't dictate Prime Minister should speak to Manipur, because there was no mention of Manipur in the motion, or it's only no confidence against the government. So the government was having confidence. Therefore, I did not disturb, sir. I did not disturb anyone. Please allow me to speak.
So nobody is disturbing you. You make your point, then I'll go to the Congress and the DMK. You finish your point,
Prime Minister spoke exhaustively. He articulated in 3 points. One, politics. Then he spent more amount on time on Manipur. And he also said, Manipur, we will ensure that peace returns. Internet has been restored in Manipur. Peaceful returning to Manipur. And apart from that, should Congress walk out? Should DMK walk out? After Prime Minister heckled them, they should return when he started to speak Manipur.
All right. So you've made your point, sir. You've made your point, sir. Sujata,
opposition should not have walked out. Opposition should not have walked out.
I take that point. Sujata ji, please go ahead.
Yes, the fact is that this was a political speech. There is no doubt about it. What the gentleman is saying is absolutely correct. But he said that he will ensure that peace returns. He's not asking for peace to be established. He's not appealing for the two communities to establish peace. He's not ensuring that the two communities talk to each other. What kind of peace is he talking about? Like the one in Nu, where people are being driven out, one community is being thrown out. That's exactly.
One at a time. Congress party, right?
Don't you dare.
All right. Let's maintain the decorum of the debate. Let's maintain the decorum of the debate.
Sujata Paul.
Sujata Paul. Yes.
Yeah. So, he said, we will ensure that peace returns. This is not appealing for peace. And what kind of peace is it? This is what we are saying, that this is ethnic cleansing. One community is being wiped out. They are being, and there, I have information that a whole lot of people from the community have left Manipur, gone to Nagaland. Similarly, from Mizoram, the Meiteis have left Mizoram and they are moving towards Manipur. What is happening? You have this of Manipur. There are many communities over there, even the Nagas, they all have had problems in the past, but they are there and they have stayed over there, but this is the first time that they are moving away.
This is not whataboutery, but put this into context. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. It was pointed out by the Union Home Minister as well, and I'm reiterating that point. You can counter that if you disagree. That unfortunately, there is a history to violence between communities in the northeastern region, and it is not as if it is happening for the first time. It's unfortunate that it has happened earlier in other northeastern states as well. And in fact, somewhere the political onus and responsibility of why it continues to simmer lies with the people or the parties who were ruling the state earlier. That was said by the BJP. Respond to that point. Yes.
I thank you for asking me this question, because the fact is,
I'll come after the NDA,
after Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's NDA went out of power, what we inherited was chaos in the northeast. And what happened was that in Manipur also things were not okay. But if you remember that after the... Can you keep quiet?
One second. Can we please mute the audio of Mr. Rajgopalan? And can we please have Sujata Paul, please? Sujata ji, there was a different error of kinds. Please go ahead. Yes.
No problem. Yeah. All right. So what I'm saying is that when we inherited the problems of Manipur from the NDA government, we didn't push the responsibility on the NDA government, if you remember. The Manorama incident happened in August 2004. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh went to Manipur, ensured people that AFSPA would be removed from various places gradually. And that process has continued. So our 10 years, there were no problems. How is it that their 9.5 years, and when there is a so-called double disaster government over there, their double engine government, how is it that this problem has started now? How come Arambai, Tengol and Meitei came in?
The unfortunate bit is that if I dig into history or if I cite precedents, it will become political whataboutery, and that's exactly something I don't want to do on Manipur. I quickly want to bring in a point from the DMK, then I'll bring in Anila Singh of the BJP. She is back with us on the broadcast. Mr. Dharanidharan, a quick point from you, please.
See, if you compare the violence that has happened in Manipur from 2004 to 2014, 3 or 4 sporadic incidences about 20 people killed, but look, compare it from 2014 to 2023. This violence alone about 200 people, and then earlier about 40 people, and so the entire mismanagement has to go with the BJP government. What was the intelligence and CBI, and RAW doing? And also, why wasn't the chief minister changed, and why is he still not changed? Why is there no emergency? The inaction is the problem. It took 4 months for the chief prime minister to speak on the issue. It took 3 months for video of women being tortured, made to parade in the streets to come out. So that is the problem. How the BJP handle. Let's not go into history. And also, I want to make one more important point. That is the first time in history of independent India that bills have been passed when no confidence motion has been called, and also bills were not given time to be discussed. There were always changes in the business of the House. The
While
bills were
today
introduced early
there
in
were
the morning.
crucial GST amendment bill, and there was also the 3 crucial bills pertaining to CRPC and IPC being referred to the standing committee. The opposition was out there
These
protesting.
bills do not even have a name in English for the first time ever. They were all
that's a separate matter for debate, sir. I would welcome that debate at some other point. That's a good point that you're making. Anilaji, a quick point from you. Why did it take so long for the union government to admit that there is a problem which is brewing in the northeastern state, and you still continue to defend a chief minister, which many are demanding must step down?
Not whole of the Northeast is disturbed, but definitely in today's date, yes, Manipur is really disturbed. And this is what Honorable Home Minister also conveyed, that NDA government is there in Manipur since 6 years. There never ever was curfew. Situation was normal, and AFSA was also removed. And this a verdict came out, and immediately a violence erupted. And the worst part was the political parties like Congress, they didn't try to calm the situation down. They encouraged the perpetrators to come out and do more violence. So the reality is that Manipur is also going to be calm in near future. But the real phase of political parties like Congress is out, and we all know that they
I'll just come back to you. Mr. Rajgopalan, do you find merit in this argument that it took too long for the union government to admit and to take the responsibility that situation in Manipur is very tense? And more importantly, why do you see the BJP still backing the chief minister? Mr. Rajgopalan.
It's a political issue. It's a political issue whether to change the chief minister or not. It is left to the BJP High Command. And, we cannot force BJP to do a change of chief minister. There are ministers who are arrested, and the chief minister is still protecting them in some states. So therefore, my understanding is it is for the BJP to take a call. Second thing, day before yesterday, Mr. Amit Shah spoke very well on this Myanmar, where the army regime came in Myanmar in 2022. There are leftovers from Kuki community from Myanmar to India. So therefore, that started. He gave the root cause of it. What else you want? You can't change the goalposts, Soni, madam.
No, but Mr. Rajgopalan, one of the key arguments, and I find it some legal weightage as well, that had it been any other opposition rule state, a precedent rule would have been imposed. That has not been done in Manipur.
State, it is not a border state. If they want to put 356, and some party suggests army to go there. The day before yesterday, Amit Shah said this is not no place for army. We don't want to use AFSA. He mentioned that. What else you want? You have to get educated for, they understand what Amit Shah articulated that day. Opposition was determined to walk out, they walked out because they don't have any answer to reply to the government. Whatever Rahul Gandhi is speaking today in press conference, Rahul Gandhi should have spoken in the...
One at a time. Mr. Rajgopalan right now, then I'll go to DMK and the Congress. Mr. Rajgopalan, yes.
Rahul Gandhi should have spoken in Parliament after Prime Minister spoke. It is only theatrics because government articulated very well, madam. Prime Minister said Amit Shah has spoken for 2 full hours and he extended it further. And he also said peace should return. You can't dictate terms to a government which is in a crisis mode, sensitive mode.
All right.
Apart from that, even in the all-party meeting, the Congress, Gaurav Gogoi attended that all-party meeting and he appreciated the government stand. Now the Congress, or internal Congress is divided. Entire opposition is divided. That is why this crisis.
All right. A quick response from Sujata Paul and
Yes.
Mr. Dharanidharan. Yes.
The BJP spokesperson just said that the Northeast is disturbed. Is she trying to say that the entire Northeast is disturbed even now? AFSPA has still not been removed from all places. It has been removed from certain police stations. And this is how the BJP protects it, that it has been removed from everywhere except 9 districts in Assam and so on. But what are the weapons doing with the public right now? The weapons haven't been brought back to the treasury. The Congress, how is the Congress responsible for maintaining law and order over there at the moment when you are in power? And like I said, we did not blame the NDA government for the problems we inherited. And like the DMK spokesperson has, there were sporadic incidents, but he brought them under control. ADGP Clay Kongsai's house was burnt down. How do you expect things to become not just a political issue? The chief minister of other states can be removed, but the chief minister over here cannot be removed. What kind of argument is that? Whenever we have been held accountable, if you remember in Uttarakhand when the 2013 disaster happened, it was the opposition which asked for Vijay Bahuguna to be removed as chief minister, and we did that. Yes.
Mr. Dharanidharan, a quick point from you as I wrap this debate, please.
See, the Prime Minister has been doing a lot of political rallies and was never speaking in the Parliament, so he forgot how to speak in the Parliament. And the parliamentary speech yesterday was 99% was more like a political, addressing a political rally, and with no substance and no data, it's all lies. Right? That is the problem. He said BJP is the party which does not do corruption, but the only party that made corruption official in the world is BJP by bringing electoral bonds, where corporate companies and anyone can donate
Manipur.
money they want, and only BJP will know, no one will not know. And then he said, no, BJP.
Kachetiv, what is answer for Kachetiv? You tell me about
BJP has the
Kachetiv.
highest number of dynasts. Prime Minister Modi said
As I focus on the issue of Manipur and what has dominated, indeed the situation, as the Home Minister highlighted, is a very worrying situation. There must be a constructive debate and political accountability that must be sought on the floor of the House and outside in political discourse. As I end this debate, thank you Anla Singh, Sujata Paul, Salim Dharanidharan and Mr. Raj Gopalan for joining us on the broadcast. And in the days to come, we hope that the violence in the state of Manipur only comes down and the peace and normalcy is restored. We're slipping into a very short break, but up next, the Centre proposes a major revamp to the criminal laws, rejigging various provisions of the Indian Penal Code, Indian Evidence Act, and also the Criminal Procedure Code. After independence, if approved by a select committee and eventually the Parliament, this will be the biggest reform of the legal system that we witness.